Welcome back to another episode of The Three View. Today we are joined by Yellowstone Quake head coach Gaetano Moirano. How are things been since you've moved to Yellowstone?
It's amazing. I moved here last week, and it's just been a process of getting moved in and getting settled down.
And for those of you watching who are unfamiliar with Gaetano, so you were the head coach for the Binghamton Buzz last year in their inaugural season, and you took the team all the way to the Fraser Cup. How do you plan on using that experience from last year's successful team into helping the Quake become more of a competitive program?
Sure. Well, I definitely think as a first year program, there was a lot to learn from the recruiting aspect to just bringing the right players in to create the right culture. And throughout the season, we retooled and essentially we had our final product back in March.
And what originally drew you to the position opening in Yellowstone?
Yeah, so it was early April, and I got a call from one of the Quake staff, and they reached out and wanted to see what my intentions were for this upcoming season.
Mhm.
After having heard everything that had been happening the last couple of years, I wanted to challenge myself for my next endeavor, and I feel like it's somewhere at my point in my career that I feel like I can be a huge asset to help a program that has been around for such a long time and has such a great history to be able to continue that.
And you just touched on it yourself. The Quake have a proud history, but have struggled a bit in recent years. How do you plan on turning this program around and getting the community excited about this team?
From day one, it's been about recruiting the best character players that I can. I think when we're establishing a new culture, it goes a long way. Finding the guys that are willing and bought in to helping a rebuild. I think it takes a special type of player to put some of their own self aside and be bought into helping me establish my vision and help fulfilling that throughout the season. I know for a fact that once we start getting into the community, our community members are going to fall in love with our players. And I think that's the first step in helping kind of repair some of the recent years is knowing that our guys are always going to be in town, always going to be out there reaching out to our fans and the youth hockey players. And from there, it will give the guys an extra motivation on the ice when it really matters, knowing that they're playing for their city.
And going off of having that community support, talk about what it means to you to be able to grow the sport of hockey in Wyoming, especially because it's not somewhere that's typically associated with the sport and is kind of, a different market.
Sure. I mean, I definitely feel like just from being here a few days, seeing the amount of youth hockey here, there's definitely a demand. And from the players that I've talked to and the parents that I've talked to from the past, these players and the local kids, they look up to the Quake, and their end goal at their age is to play for the Quake. And I want to help keep that going for those kids to have something to aspire towards. And the games just continue to grow. And not only Cody, but they have a team Wyoming out here, which all the best players go and play on that team. So whatever the Quake can do to inspire the kids, I think it's going to go a long way this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we kind of look towards this upcoming season, when you originally took this role, what was your first area of priority that you kind of wanted to build upon?
So I would say the first area was so I had been hired about a week before the draft. I think it was very important to find guys that I knew that wanted to be a part of it right away. Establishing those players was instrumental in filling out the rest of the roster. So I think that was the number one thing. Number two was finding the guys from the past roster that wanted to be a part of what we were doing. And I found a couple of guys that I know are really good character guys that are going to help lead these rookies through the first season here. And I'm just really looking forward to it all coming together.
And how important is it for you to have those veteran players who've already had the experience of playing for the Quake and can kind of help you not only acclimate to the new area, but also help the new players get acclimated as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to have guys with experience showing the younger guys the ropes, not only on the ice, like what showing the players what it means to be a junior hockey player, I think is important. And then just also like the little things like outside of the rink, like, hey, like this is a good spot in town. Like these places are hiring. Like it's all the little things that add up. Knowing that the guys have references that they could go to if they ever need any help or guidance aside from myself.
Yeah, for sure. And last year you were in the East Division. This year, obviously, you will be in the Frontier. What excites you most about joining this division, especially knowing that Helena has won the Fraser Cup, recently and came from the Frontier?
Yeah, I definitely over the last year, even with Binghamton, before I got that job, I heard a lot of really great things about the Frontier Division. A lot of really talented players gravitate towards the West Division, which I think that's why there's so much parity and why it's such a strong division. I really look forward to playing the top dogs. I think it's always great to put yourself outside your comfort zone and show what you can do. It's going to definitely be a learning experience for the players and for myself just to be able to compete in this division. But I'm 100% confident that it's gonna be a great ride this year.
And as you reflect on last year, especially being with a first year program, what was your biggest takeaway that you're going to implement in Yellowstone?
Finding the right recruits was definitely the most instrumental part of having the start that we had in Binghamton. So, which is why going into the draft, knowing the players that I had chosen, I felt like those were going to be the really good first few players to create the base, and then from there, it helps the recruiting process, selling prospective players on the quality players that we have, the type of characters that we have, and really telling the players exactly what we're going to establish. Knowing that that's all in place, it makes the job a little bit easier. So, yeah, for even though we've been around quite a while in Yellowstone, I definitely feel like this is going to be another first year team. So there may be some growth pains, but I definitely feel like up is the direction that we're going.
And knowing that the Frontier is a battle night in and night out, what is going to be your message to your players, knowing that every point counts?
Oh, I mean that's huge. One thing I said during practice, kind of went over the stats from last year, and I said if we could get 100 goals this year and limit the goals that go in our net, I think that would be a huge establishment for the first season, and then from there just continue to build on.
And what is your biggest goal for this year? In addition to what you just said, is there anything that, jumps out in your mind is something that you want to definitely achieve in year one?
I definitely want to be a team that is pushing for the playoff race come February. I think that is something that the players know is attainable, and it's something that we really have to strive for.
And knowing that you kind of had to rebuild this roster, what qualities are especially important to you in addition to the on ice performance?
Kind of like I said earlier, finding the character guys that want to be here it's instrumental in creating the culture. Knowing that the last couple seasons hadn't been great, making it fun for the guys to come to the rink and having the friendships, and it makes the whole junior experience a lot better. Knowing that they could come to the rink, they could focus on what they need to focus on, and if they're not doing school or if they're not working, they've got really good buddies that they'll be able to hang out with, and those are some of the relationships that they'll be lifelong relationships. That's what I really look to build.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, G, thank you so much for hopping on this call. We appreciate your time and good luck in your first year in Cody.
Awesome. Thanks, Britt. Always a pleasure.